Good morning, everybody. As soon as I hit the go live button, all four of my dogs started barking. So they might bark a little bit, sorry. I'm gonna give you guys a few seconds to hop on here. If anybody is here, say good morning and let me know that you're watching and you can hear me. So today, I want to talk about loving and praying for your enemies. And I feel like that is one of the hardest things that Jesus has asked us as Christians to do. So I'm going to tell you a little story that happened, I guess, 2 weeks ago to Ryan and I. So, as I've been saying, I've been super swamped, and I keep using the word sinking. Like, I just feel like for the last kind of 4 weeks, I just had so much on my plate. It's better now because I have a couple projects that are completed, so it's better now, but I was just like exhausted and I could not catch up, and I was waking up I would normally wake up at like 4 a.m. to catch up, but I was starting to get up at 2 a.m. so that I could work from 2 a.m., till 7 o'clock, till the kids got up quietly before I had to do schoolwork and stuff. And then I would work all the way till 8, 9 o'clock at night. And it was just, I just couldn't do it anymore. So I was actually just kind of falling to pieces because I was trying to do it on my own strength and not asking for God's help. But so about 2 weeks ago, I was so tired, and Ryan, God bless him, he just can't kind of fend for himself. He needs me to make him food. That is his one thing. He needs me to make him food. So I couldn't make him dinner that night. I was so exhausted. It was like 8 o'clock, it was probably 7:30, maybe 7 at night. And he's like, "Are you making dinner?" And I'm still working at the computer. And I said, "Babe, you know what? I'm just going to order you Uber Eats," which I don't do a lot because I'm super cheap. And so he's like, "Okay, that's fine." I said, "What do you want?" And he's like, "I want Mission Barbecue." And I'm like, "Honey, like, can we get something cheap here? Do we have to go like barbecue?" And he's like, "I want ribs." I'm like, "Do we have to really do ribs?" Like, I'm trying to be cheap. So I said, "Okay, how about I do Bubba Q's?" Because Bubba Q's is a little bit cheaper, and they have free delivery right now if I order. So I went ahead and ordered Bubba Q's, and I did ribs for him. And because I don't really need much to eat, and I just kind of eat what's on his plate, I just ordered an extra side of brisket, barbecue brisket, so that I could just eat that. So anyway, I placed the order, and it's $32, and for just his meal, with ribs and whatever he wanted. So I placed the order, and then I said to Ryan, I'm like, "Oh, it's so much money. Like, I feel like I'm gonna throw up. I should just cook something." He said, "How much was it?" And I said, $32. He's like, "Oh my gosh, that's a lot of money." I said, "I know, I should probably try to cancel it." And he's like, "No, just leave it. You're exhausted, and we don't do this very often, so just go ahead." So I said, "Okay, well, I'm going to go soak in the bath and, think about my decision here," because I really was stressed about it. And so I went to go have a bath, and Uber Eats, if you're on there right now, they do contactless delivery. So whatever, that's fine. Drop it at my door. That's, good for me. And I was just at my brother's place in Orlando. He has a property there, and I was just there helping, and I didn't know the address, but I had to order Uber Eats. So I guess I had turned on location services on my Uber Eats, which I didn't know that I did. So apparently this location services was on. So instead of ordering the food to be delivered to 1319 Brahma Drive, it chose my location as 1313. Oh, I shouldn't say that. Anyway, it chose the location of, hi Patricia, it chose the location of my next door neighbor. directly like right beside me. So I was in the bathtub, I got out of the bath, I got dressed, and then ting, a little pop-up came and said, your Uber Eats has been delivered. So I'm like, perfect. So I opened my door and there's nothing there. So I'm like, maybe I misread my notification on my phone and maybe it said it's on its way. So I went ahead and opened up the Uber Eats app and looked, and it said delivered, but they had taken a picture. And I go, that's my neighbor's door. So I immediately walk over. This is, a minute after it's been delivered. I walk over thinking it's just gonna be still sitting on the doorstep because they're literally 10 steps away. And it's not there. So I'm like, okay. Knock on the door, expecting them to open the door and say, yep, your order got delivered here by accident. No answer. I look, okay, all the cars are there, plus they have a visitor. So I'm thinking, that's weird that they don't answer the door. And then my other neighbor is out, so I said, hey, did you see anybody come up? Nope, never saw anything. Okay. So bang, 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 bang. I come home, Ryan's like, where's my food? I thought you said it was delivered. I said, yeah, it's not there. I said, it actually got delivered at the neighbors. Here's the picture, but they're not answering the door. He said, what do you mean they're not answering the door? So bang, 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 bang. Ryan walks over there, bang, 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 bang. And nobody is answering the door. So he is starting to kind of get blood boiling, if you could say, because we're wondering, why are you not answering the door? Why will you not give us our food that we ordered? And it just didn't make sense. They're our next door neighbor. We see them almost every single day. So speeding up my story here, the neighbor never did answer the door that night. We placed a note on their car. We placed a note on their door. They got it that night saying, why would you take our food? We're your next door neighbor. Why won't you answer the door? We just want an explanation. We were, very upset that our food accidentally got delivered there and they just won't answer the door. It was a very strange situation. It's not something that we would ever do, so we don't expect somebody else to do that. And when Jesus asks us to pray for our enemies, that means that even when they do things that we would never do, even when they take from us, steal from us, hurt us, lie about us, we have to love them and pray for them. And here's the thing. The Jesus Calling said it best today. The first line, it said, learn to love people through, learn to relate to people, to others through my love rather than yours. Your human love is ever so limited, full of flaws and manipulation. So true. God has called us to love and pray for our enemies, but we cannot do it with our human love. It is impossible. Our human love is not capable of that. Our human love will not allow us to do that. Our human love is very, very flawed and limited. We can only love people through Jesus, and that's it. Through his love. We have to allow that love to flow through us. So, back to my story. Ryan was so upset. So 2 hours later, we're still knocking on their door. Somebody's already left the house, so we know they're home. A vehicle's left. So I said to Ryan, you got to get over this. You got to get over it, because it's the $35 is gone. Our food is gone. They're our neighbors, and you need to just calm down. And I said, what would Jesus do? And what does Jesus say when somebody takes your cloak? Give them something else. So I said, maybe they're hurting because of the coronavirus. I mean, we don't know the situation. So I said, really, you should get them a $20 gift card to a restaurant and put a note on their door and say, I forgive you, and whatever it is you needed to steal our food. We're neighbors, and it is what it is. Well, Ryan's a little rough around the edges, for those of you that know him. So, but he does have a big heart. So the next day he went to Winn-Dixie and got a $100 Winn-Dixie gift card. And I was like, I told you $20 gift card to a restaurant. I'm like, $100? That's a lot of money. Like, oh my gosh. And he said, that's just what I wanted to do. So he sat at the table and he wrote a note. Again, Ryan is rough around the edges. So his note was like, I'm happy that you didn't open your door yesterday because I probably would have beat your butt. But here is a $100 gift card to Winn-Dixie because I don't know what you're going through, and I'm sure that this is something that Jesus would have done. And then he signed it, your neighbor, Ryan. So I was so proud of Ryan, thinking, good job. I would have written the letter a little bit differently, but I'm very proud of you for doing that and for actually, trying to get over this. And again, long story short, it didn't quite turn out the way that we wanted it to, and the neighbor was still angry, denied everything, and kind of just So when you pray for your enemies, when you love them, and they still show injustice, you got to give it to God. You cannot hold onto that anger. You cannot hold onto that bitterness. You cannot hold onto that resentment, because what that is a snare from the enemy. That's what that is. People are going to lie about you. People are going to say things about you. People are going to, tell stories about you that just aren't true. People are going to hurt you in ways that they never should, but it's going to happen in life. And it was a very valuable lesson that I had to tell my kids, because they're like, what's going on? Why would they do that? And I said, listen, guys, we got to get over it. We got to forgive. We got to love, and we got to pray for them. This is a perfect example for you kids to understand that things in life are going to happen to you. It is inevitable. And the funny thing is that we had just watched the Passion of the Christ, because we watch that show with our kids every single Easter. And yes, it is gruesome, but the kids need to understand, and we need to understand and be reminded of just what Jesus did on the cross for us, but also how he forgave the people that were doing that to him. And Ryan said that night. He said, if Jesus can forgive those men for mocking him, spitting on him, beating him, and doing all that to him, then certainly I can for stealing our meal. So I was going to speak on something totally different today, and this came up very clearly to me, and God is speaking to somebody. Somebody is going to hear this that is holding on to so much bitterness or anger or resentment and hate, and you have to let it go. I see so much kind of stuff on Facebook and politics, and you may not agree with what is happening or what people do or people say, but you cannot hold on to it. You have to learn how to let it go, to pray for those people, and to allow God to right the wrongs. It is not our job. It is our job to love people and pray for people and forgive people. And it is God's job to handle whatever injustice has happened to you. And we have to be able to trust that God will do that. That is it for today, ladies and gentlemen. So I pray that if this is you, that you would take a few minutes today and you would just quietly ask God to show you what's in your heart, what bitterness or anger or what, who's hurt you that you're holding on to. And I just pray that you would write those names down, and for the whole week, look at that list Ask God to help you to forgive them, because you can't do it on your own. Ask God to help you to love them, because you can't do it with your human love. And then ask God to help you to, move on from it. So that's it. I love you guys. Have a great